The crystalline spires of Nexus Prime glittered under the light of 3 suns, their iridescent surfaces reflecting a kaleidoscope of colors across the bustling cityscape. Within the grand chamber of the Galactic Council, an air of tension permeated the room as representatives from 1,000 worlds shifted uneasily in their seats. High Arbiter Zorlax, a towering figure with shimmering scales and piercing silver eyes, raised all 4 of their arms to call for silence. Esteemed colleagues, we face an unprecedented crisis. The chamber fell quiet, save for the occasional rustle of appendages and the soft hum of translator devices. Zorlax's voice boomed across the chamber. For eons, we have observed the beings of Sol 3, or Earth, as they call it. We believe them to be primitive, barely worth noting in our grand tapestry of civilizations. But now, we stand on the precipice of disaster. Murmurs rippled through the assembly. A slender, ethereal being composed of swirling mist rose from their seat. High Arbiter, surely you exaggerate. How can these humans pose any real threat to the galactic concord? Zorlax's eyes narrowed. Ah, Nebula Whisperer Zerlith, your skepticism is noted, but perhaps a demonstration will convince you. With a gesture, a holographic display flickered to life in the center of the chamber. The image showed a blue-green world, teeming with life and surrounded by a growing cloud of artificial satellites and debris. As the assembled representatives watched, the view zoomed in, revealing cities, vehicles, and the busy activity of billions of beings. Observe, Zorlax commanded. In mere centuries, they have progressed from simple tools to the threshold of interstellar travel. Their rate of technological advancement is unprecedented. Another counselor, a being of living crystal named Prismera, chimed in, but High Arbiter, rapid advancement alone does not constitute a threat. Many species dash. Silence, Zorlax thundered, causing several delegates to flinch. It is not merely their technological prowess that concerns us. It is their nature. The hologram shifted, displaying scenes of human history. Wars, atomic explosions, environmental destruction, but also great acts of heroism, scientific breakthroughs, and artistic wonders. They are chaos incarnate. Zorlax continued, unpredictable, adaptable, and utterly relentless in pursuit of their goals. They wage war and make peace with equal fervor. They destroy and create on a whim. And now they stand on the cusp of joining us among the stars. A ripple of unease spread through the chamber. Zerlith spoke again, their misty forms swirling with agitation. What would you have us do, High Arbiter? Surely we cannot violate our most sacred laws. Non-interference dash. Non-interference be damned. Zorlax roared, slamming a fist on the podium. If we do not act, and act swiftly, these humans will upset the balance we have maintained for millennia. From the back of the chamber, a gravelly voice cut through the tension. Perhaps we are approaching this from the wrong angle. All eyes turned to the speaker, an ancient being known as Elder Wraith Ktonos. His form seemed to absorb light, creating a void in the shape of a hunched humanoid. Zorlax's eyes narrowed. Explain yourself, Elder Wraith. Ktonos rose slowly, his voice a whisper that somehow carried to every corner of the room. We have always sought to maintain order, to predict and control. But these humans, they thrive on chaos. Perhaps the true threat is not their potential for destruction, but our own inability to adapt. A shocked silence fell over the assembly. Zorlax's scales rippled with barely contained fury. Are you suggesting we simply allow them to run rampant across the galaxy? Ktonos shook his head, a motion that seemed to distort the very space around him. No, High Arbiter. I am suggesting that we must evolve. If we cannot match their adaptability, their unpredictability, then perhaps it is we who are the greatest threat to the galaxy's future. The chamber erupted into chaos. Delegates shouted, argued, and in some cases, began to glow with barely contained energy. Zorlax bellowed for order, but his voice was lost in the cacophony. As the pandemonium grew, a small, unassuming figure slipped out of the chamber unnoticed. Lyriel, junior aide to the Arcturian delegation, felt her heart racing as she made her way through the winding corridors of Nexus Prime. Her people had long maintained secret contact with Earth, and now she had a warning to deliver. The fate of 2 civilizations, and perhaps the entire galaxy, hung in the balance, and time was running out. The gentle hum of the United Earth Defense Force, UEDF, headquarters filled the vast underground complex beneath the Rocky Mountains. General Ariadne Voss strode purposefully through the corridors, her cybernetic eye scanning security clearances faster than any human could blink. "Status report now," she barked as she entered the central command hub. A young lieutenant jumped to attention. "Ma'am, we've detected anomalous energy signatures in high orbit. They don't match any known terrestrial or extraterrestrial patterns in our database." Voss's organic eye narrowed. "Show me." The main view screen flickered to life, displaying a swarm of shimmering distortions against the backdrop of Earth's night side. As they watched, the distortions coalesced into sleek, otherworldly vessels that seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it. "Holy shit," someone whispered. Voss allowed herself a grim smile. "Ladies and gentlemen, it seems the day we've been preparing for has finally arrived. Initiate Protocol Omega." Alarms blared throughout the facility as personnel scrambled to their stations. Voss turned to her second-in-command, Colonel Zephyr Blackwood. "What's our current readiness status?" Blackwood's fingers danced across his neural interface. "Orbital defense grid at 89% capacity. Planetary shield generators warming up. ETA 15 minutes to full coverage. Ground and air forces mobilizing worldwide." "And Project Lazarus?" Voss asked, her voice barely above a whisper. Blackwood's eyes widened. "Ma'am, are you sure? We haven't even completed final testing dash." "Do I look like I give a damn about final testing, Colonel?" Voss snapped. "We're facing an alien invasion force of unknown capabilities. I want every asset at our disposal ready for deployment. Is that clear?" "Crystal clear, General," Blackwood replied, swallowing hard. "I'll alert Dr. Eisenhart immediately." As Blackwood hurried away, a priority communication alert flashed on the main screen. Voss frowned. "What now?" "Put it through." The screen split, revealing a face that made even the battle-hardened general take a step back. The being before her was unmistakably alien, a swirling, ethereal form that seemed to flicker in and out of reality. "Greetings, defenders of Earth," the being said, its voice resonating directly in their minds rather than through the speakers. "I am Lyriel, emissary of the Arcturian Collective. I come with a warning and an offer of alliance." Voss's cybernetic eye whirred as it attempted to analyze the impossible image before her. "You have exactly 30 seconds to explain yourself before I order your signal traced and terminated." Lyriel's form pulsed with what might have been amusement. "General Voss, I assure you, that won't be necessary. The fleet you've detected belongs to the Galactic Concord, an alliance of spacefaring civilizations that has, until now, chosen to leave Earth in isolation. That policy has changed. They come not in peace, but to neutralize what they perceive as a threat." "A threat?" Voss scoffed. "We haven't even achieved reliable interstellar travel. How the hell could we threaten them? It is not your current capabilities they fear, but your potential," Lyriel explained. "Your species' rate of advancement and adaptability is unprecedented. They believe that left unchecked, humanity will upset the balance of power in the galaxy." Voss's mind raced, processing the implications. "And you? Why are you warning us?" Lyriel's form shimmered. "Because some of us believe that diversity and change are the keys to our collective survival. We've been watching Earth for centuries, and we see in humanity a spark that could ignite a new age of innovation and discovery across the galaxy. We wish to ally with you, to help you defend against the Concord's aggression." Before Voss could respond, alarms blared throughout the command center. "General," a technician shouted. "Multiple atmospheric breaches detected. They're sending dropships to major population centers worldwide." Voss's jaw clenched. "Lyriel, if you're genuine in your offer of help, now would be a damn good time to prove it. All personnel, battle stations. This is not a drill. Initiate planetary defense protocols and prepare for ground engagement." As chaos erupted in the command center, Voss allowed herself a moment of grim reflection. Humanity had long wondered if they were alone in the universe. Now they had their answer, and it had come in the form of an existential threat. But if these aliens thought Earth would go down without a fight, they were in for one hell of a surprise. In a secure lab deep within the mountain complex, Dr. Eisenhart received Colonel Blackwood's priority message. The aging scientist's hands trembled as he input the activation codes for Project Lazarus. Banks of quantum computers hummed to life, their processing power dedicated to a single, world-altering task. As the first waves of alien dropships pierced Earth's atmosphere, humanity's secret weapon stirred to life. In hidden facilities around the globe, stasis pods hissed open, releasing their genetically engineered occupants. They were the pinnacle of human potential, stronger, faster, and possessing abilities that bordered on the superhuman. Project Lazarus was awake, and the galaxy was about to learn why you should never underestimate the human spirit. The battle for Earth had begun. The Galactic Concorde's flagship, Eternal Harmony, hung in high orbit above Earth, its crystalline structure refracting sunlight in mesmerizing patterns. Within its command center, Fleet Admiral Xyrix observed the unfolding invasion with growing unease. "Status report," the Admiral demanded, his tentacles writhing with agitation. Subcommander Vex, a being of pure energy contained within an exosuit, responded promptly. "Our initial waves have encountered unexpected resistance, Admiral. The humans seem to have been prepared for our arrival." Xyrix's compound eyes narrowed. "Impossible. Our stealth technology is unmatched. How could they have known?" Before Vex could respond, a priority alert flashed across the main view screen. "Incoming transmission from the surface," a communications officer announced. It's being broadcast on all frequencies, in every known galactic language." "On screen," Xyrix ordered, his voice tinged with both curiosity and dread. The view screen flickered to life, revealing the face of General Ariadne Voss. Her expression was a mask of determined fury as she addressed not just the invaders, but the entire galaxy. "Attention, alien aggressors. This is General Ariadne Voss of the United Earth Defense Force. You have violated our sovereign territory and attacked our people without provocation. Know this: humanity will not submit, will not surrender, and will sure as hell not go quietly into the night." Xyrix felt a chill run through his exoskeleton as Voss continued. "To any civilizations watching this broadcast, bear witness. Today, you will see why Earth has not only survived but thrived in the face of every challenge our harsh world has thrown at us. We extend an open hand of friendship to those who would stand with us, and a closed fist to any who threaten our existence." The transmission cut off abruptly, leaving the Concorde's command center in stunned silence. "Arrogant primitives," Xyrix bellowed, regaining his composure. "Vex, initiate Phase 2. Show these humans the true might of the Galactic Concorde." As Vex rushed to comply, a shadow detached itself from a corner of the command center. Elder Wraith Ktonos materialized, his voice a chilling whisper. "Perhaps, Admiral, we should reconsider our approach. These humans have already defied our expectations. We risk dash." "Silence," Xyrix interrupted. "I will not be questioned by a relic of a bygone era. The Council has made its decision, and I will see it carried out." Ktonos' form seemed to ripple with disappointment. "Very well, Admiral. But remember this moment. The path you choose now may well determine the fate of our entire civilization." With that, the Elder Wraith faded from view, leaving behind an unsettling void. On Earth's surface, the battle raged with unprecedented ferocity. In the skies above New Shanghai, swarms of alien fighters clashed with Earth's most advanced aircraft. Pilot Feng, Stardust, pushed her quantum drive jet to its limits, her neural link allowing her to outmaneuver opponents with inhuman precision. "Yeehaw!" Feng shouted as she barrel-rolled through a gap in the alien formation, her plasma cannons leaving a trail of destruction in her wake. "Is that all you got, you overgrown calamari?" But for every alien craft they downed, two more seemed to take its place. The skies were thick with energy weapons fire and the burning wreckage of both human and alien vehicles. Meanwhile, In the ruins of downtown Los Angeles, a squad of Project Lazarus super soldiers faced off against a phalanx of towering, insectoid shock troopers. Sergeant Darius Prometheus Jones, his body crackling with bioelectric energy, charged headlong into the fray. "Remember your training," he roared to his squad as he vaulted over a collapsed building. "Hit him hard, hit him fast, and whatever you do, don't let them regroup." The Lazarus soldiers moved with blinding speed, their enhanced physiques and advanced weaponry allowing them to go toe-to-toe with opponents 3 times their size. But the aliens' exoskeletons proved surprisingly resilient, and their coordinated tactics spoke of centuries of combat experience. As the battle for Los Angeles hung in the balance, a new threat emerged from the alien dropships. Sleek, serpentine creatures slithered from the holds, their bodies shifting and morphing to adapt to the terrain. These were the Xeno's secret weapon, the Chameleon Core, shapeshifters capable of infiltrating enemy lines undetected. "Heads up," Darius shouted, his enhanced senses detecting the new threat. "We've got mimics in the AO. Trust nothing." The already chaotic battlefield descended into paranoia as human forces struggled to distinguish friend from foe. The Chameleon Core sowed discord and confusion, turning the tide of battle in the aliens' favor. Back in the UEDF headquarters, General Voss watched the global situation map with growing despair. Despite their preparations and the element of surprise, Earth's forces were being pushed back on multiple fronts. "We need a game changer," she muttered, her cybernetic eye whirring as it processed tactical data, "something they won't see coming." As if in answer to her unspoken prayer, an alert flashed on her neural interface. Dr. Eisenhardt's voice, tense with excitement, came through. "General, Project Nexus is online. We're ready to deploy." Voss's organic eye widened. "Project Nexus? But that's purely theoretical. We haven't even dash." "With all due respect, General," Eisenhardt interrupted, "we're out of options. It's time to fight fire with fire. Or in this case, tech with tech." Voss took a deep breath, weighing the potential consequences. But as she watched another major city fall to the alien onslaught, she knew they had no choice. "Do it," she ordered, "and may whatever gods are out there have mercy on us all." As Dr. Eisenhardt initiated the sequence that would change the course of the war, no one, human or alien, could have predicted the cosmic chain reaction they were about to set in motion. The true test of humanity's potential was about to begin, and the fate of not just Earth, but the entire galaxy, hung in the balance. Little did they know, this was merely the opening act of a conflict that would reshape the very fabric of galactic society. The subterranean facility beneath the Atacama Desert trembled as Project Nexus roared to life. Dr. Eisenhardt's fingers danced across holographic interfaces, his eyes wild with a mixture of fear and exhilaration. "Initiating quantum entanglement field," he shouted over the deafening hum of machinery. "Synchronizing global neural network." Across the planet, in bunkers and secret facilities, millions of volunteers linked to the Nexus system felt a sudden jolt as their minds connected to something vast and incomprehensible. It was as if the collective consciousness of humanity had suddenly awakened, stretching its newfound awareness across the globe and beyond. In orbit, aboard the Eternal Harmony, Admiral Xyrix recoiled as his sensor arrays overloaded with data. "What in the name of the cosmic void is happening?" he demanded. Subcommander Vex's exosuit crackled with energy as he struggled to process the information. It's impossible. The humans have somehow created a planet-wide psychic field. They're linking their minds." On the streets of Tokyo, Sergeant Akira Ronin Tanaka of the Lazarus Project felt the change wash over him like a tidal wave. Suddenly, he wasn't just Akira anymore. He was a conduit for the collective will and knowledge of billions. His movements became fluid, perfect, as if guided by the combined combat experience of every soldier who had ever lived. "Oh, you alien bastards are in for it now," Akira grinned, his eyes glowing with an otherworldly light. With a thought, he reconfigured his nanoweapon into a form that perfectly countered the physiology of the insectoid shock troopers bearing down on him. "Let's dance." Similar scenes played out across the globe as humanity's defenders found themselves empowered by the Nexus. Pilots like Fong, Stardust, Lee suddenly knew exactly where every enemy ship would be before it moved. Engineers devised countermeasures to alien tech on the fly, their collective genius working at speeds that defied comprehension. Even civilians, linked to the Nexus, played their part. Grandmothers in rural villages instinctively knew how to jerry-rig defenses against alien weaponry. Children navigated complex evacuation routes with preternatural calm, guiding others to safety. In the UEDF headquarters, General Voss gasped as the Nexus connection bloomed in her mind. Through her cybernetic eye, she saw not just tactical readouts, but the ebb and flow of the entire conflict as if it were a living, breathing entity. "My God," she whispered, "we've become more." But the alien invaders were far from defeated. The Chameleon Corps, realizing the threat posed by the Nexus, shifted their tactics. Instead of merely infiltrating human lines, they began targeting the physical infrastructure supporting the global neural network. In the Amazon rainforest, a disguised chameleon operative approached a camouflaged relay station. Just as it prepared to sabotage the equipment, a voice rang out. "I wouldn't do that if I were you, friend." The operative spun around to find itself face-to-face with Rosa Gaia Mendez, an unassuming-looking woman with eyes that sparkled with the wisdom of the forest itself. "You see," Rosa continued, her bare feet sinking into the loamy soil, "the earth remembers, and she doesn't take kindly to uninvited guests." Before the chameleon could react, vines burst from the ground, ensnaring it in a living cocoon. Trees groaned and shifted, forming an impenetrable barrier around the relay station. All across the planet, similar scenes unfolded as humanity's connection to their homeworld deepened through the Nexus. Aboard the Eternal Harmony, Admiral Xyrix watched in horror as his invasion force was systematically dismantled. Human fighters danced through asteroid fields with impossible grace, using the space debris as cover and improvised weapons. On the ground, Lazarus soldiers moved with the coordination of a single, unstoppable organism, methodically pushing back the alien advance. This cannot be," Xyrix raged, his tentacles lashing out and smashing delicate equipment. "They were primitives. Savages. How could they dash?" His tirade was cut short as the ship rocked violently. Alarms blared as hull breaches were reported across multiple decks. "Admiral," Vex cried out, They've somehow hacked our systems. Our shields are down, weapons offline, and, oh, cosmic void preserve us. They're broadcasting our tactical data to every ship in the fleet." As chaos engulfed the Concord forces, a new transmission cut through the noise. This time, it wasn't General Voss who appeared on screen, but a collective image, a shifting amalgamation of faces representing every human culture. When it spoke, it was with the voice of billions. "Galactic Concord, you came to our world seeking to neutralize a threat. But in doing so, you've only proven why we've had to become so adaptable, so relentless in our drive to survive and thrive. We extended an open hand, and you chose the closed fist. Now, witness the consequences of your choice." The image shifted, showing Concord ships across the solar system powering down, their crews incapacitated by precisely modulated energy pulses. On Earth's surface, alien ground forces found themselves herded into containment zones by impenetrable force fields and repurposed terraforming equipment. "We could destroy you," the collective voice continued. "We have that power now, but that is not our way. Instead, we offer you this choice. Retreat and tell your galactic council that Earth is not to be trifled with. Or stay, lay down your arms, and join us in forging a new future. One where diversity is celebrated, where change is embraced, and where the potential of all sentient beings is given the chance to flourish." As the transmission ended, silence fell across the battlefield. The choice presented to the invaders would shape the course of galactic history for eons to come. But even as humanity savored its victory, a new challenge loomed on the horizon. For in unleashing the full potential of the human mind, they had inadvertently caught the attention of something ancient, something that had slumbered in the depths of space for millions of years. And it was awakening. As the dust settled on Earth's unexpected victory, A new reality began to dawn on both humanity and the Galactic Concord. The invasion fleet hung motionless in space, their crews locked in fierce internal debates about their next move. On the planet's surface, captured alien soldiers found themselves corralled into hastily constructed containment zones, guarded by humans whose eyes still glowed with the power of the Nexus. In the UEDF headquarters, General Voss massaged her temples, the strain of maintaining the global psychic link taking its toll. "Status report," she growled, her voice hoarse from overuse. Colonel Blackwood, his uniform singed and torn, snapped to attention. "Ma'am, we've achieved victory on all fronts. Alien forces are in full retreat or have surrendered. But there's a complication." Voss's cybernetic eye whirred as she fixed him with a steely gaze. "Spit it out, Colonel. What fresh hell are we dealing with now?" Blackwood swallowed hard. "It's the Nexus, General. Dr. Eisenhart reports that it's growing, evolving beyond our control, and it's reaching out into space, far beyond our solar system." Before Voss could respond, a priority alert flashed across every screen in the command center. The face that appeared belonged to Lyriel, the Arcturian emissary, but her usual ethereal calm had been replaced by unmistakable panic. "General Voss, you must shut down the Nexus immediately. You don't understand what you've done, what you've awakened." Voss leaned forward, her organic eye narrowing. "Slow down, Lyriel. What are you talking about? We've won. The Concord is dash. The Concord is the least of our worries now." Lyriel interrupted, her form flickering erratically. "Your Nexus, its psychic emanations have reached the edge of the galaxy. It stirred something ancient, something that should have remained dormant. The Devourers are coming." A chill ran through the command center. Even those not directly linked to the Nexus could feel a growing sense of dread, as if some primordial part of their psyche recognized an approaching predator. High above Earth, aboard the Eternal Harmony, a similar scene was unfolding. Admiral Xyrix, his tentacles drooping with exhaustion, found himself face to face with the shimmering form of Elder Wraith Chthonios. "I warned you, Admiral." Chthonios' voice echoed through the command deck. "The humans were not the true threat. In our arrogance, we've unleashed something far worse." Xyrix's compound eyes blinked rapidly in confusion. "What are you babbling about, old one? We've been defeated. What could possibly be dash?" His words were cut short as every sensor array on the ship suddenly screamed to life. On the main view screen, a visualization of the Milky Way appeared. At its edges, vast, shadowy forms were stirring, their tendrils reaching hungrily towards the galactic core. "The Devourers," Chthonios whispered, his form seeming to shrink in on itself. "Ancient beings of pure thought and endless hunger. They consume entire civilizations, absorbing their knowledge and essence. We thought them long extinct, but the humans' Nexus has roused them from their slumber." Back on Earth, the full implications of the situation were beginning to sink in. Dr. Eisenhart, his lab coat stained with sweat and grime, addressed the UEDF command staff via hologram. "We can't simply shut down the Nexus," he explained, his voice trembling. "It's become self-sustaining, drawing power from the collective consciousness of humanity. If we forcibly disconnect, the psychic backlash could drive our entire species insane." General Voss slammed her fist on the conference table. "So what you're telling me, Doctor, is that we've painted a giant bull's eye on our galaxy for some cosmic horrors to target? And we can't even turn off the damn signal?" The room fell silent, the weight of their predicament settling heavily on all present. It was Sergeant Darius Prometheus Jones, still spattered with alien ichor from the Battle of Los Angeles, who finally spoke up. "With all due respect, General," he said, his eyes glowing with Nexus energy, "I think we're looking at this all wrong. We didn't just create a beacon. We've forged the greatest weapon the galaxy has ever seen." All eyes turned to Darius as he continued, his voice growing stronger with each word. "The Nexus doesn't just connect us to each other. It connects us to everything. If these Devourers are coming, then let them come. We'll face them with the combined might of humanity and every race in the galactic concord." A murmur of agreement rippled through the room. Even Lyriel, still present via hologram, seemed to straighten, a glimmer of hope returning to her ethereal features. It could work, she mused, but it would require a level of cooperation unprecedented in galactic history. Humans, Concord races, even the independent worlds, all would need to join the Nexus. General Voss stood, her cybernetic eye gleaming with newfound determination. Then that's exactly what we'll do. Colonel Blackwood, open a channel to Admiral Zyrex. It's time we turn these invaders into allies. As the UEDF scrambled to enact their audacious plan, the Devourers drew ever closer. In the vast, cold reaches of space, titanic forms of living thought and energy surged towards the Milky Way, drawn by the irresistible beacon of the Nexus. The galaxy stood on the brink of either its greatest triumph or its final destruction, and at the center of it all was humanity, no longer the primitive threat the Concord had feared, but the linchpin upon which the fate of all sentient life now rested. As General Voss prepared to address not just Earth, but the entire galactic Concord, she allowed herself a grim smile. Humanity, fuck yeah, she whispered to herself. Let's show these cosmic bastards what we're really made of. The stage was set for the greatest battle in the history of the universe, and humanity, against all odds, would lead the charge. Certainly. Here's Part 6, the final part of our story. Part 6, A New Galactic Order. The vast chamber of the Galactic Concord's emergency assembly hummed with tension. Representatives from 1,000 worlds shifted uneasily in their seats, their eyes fixed on the holographic display at the center of the room. There, larger than life, stood General Ariadne Voss, her cybernetic eye gleaming as she surveyed the assembled aliens. Members of the Galactic Concord, she began, her voice resonating with the power of the Nexus. We stand at a crossroads. The Devourers approach, a threat beyond anything our civilizations have faced. We have two choices: stand divided and fall, or unite and fight. Murmurs rippled through the assembly. Admiral Zyrex, his tentacles twitching nervously, rose to speak. And why should we trust you, human? It was your reckless use of this Nexus that awakened the Devourers in the first place. Voss's organic eye narrowed. Because, Admiral, we're offering you something unprecedented. We're offering to share the Nexus with every sentient species in the galaxy. Gasps and exclamations filled the chamber. Elder Wraith Chthonios materialized next to Voss, his shadowy form a stark contrast to her military bearing. What the General proposes is not without risk, Chthonios intoned, his voice echoing in the minds of all present. But it may be our only hope. The Devourers feed on division, on the isolation of minds. United through the Nexus, we may stand a chance. As debates raged across the chamber, Dr. Eisenhardt's voice came through on a private channel to Voss. General, we're detecting massive energy fluctuations at the edge of the galaxy. The Devourers are accelerating their approach. We're running out of time. Voss gritted her teeth, then raised her voice to cut through the cacophony. Enough. While we bicker, our enemy draws near. I'm not asking you to submit to humanity's rule. I'm offering you a partnership. Together, we can forge a new galactic order, one strong enough to face this threat and any that may come after. Silence fell over the assembly. Then, slowly, one by one, representatives began to step forward. The crystalline form of Prismera, the swirling mists of Zerlith, even the reluctant Admiral Zyrex, all pledged their support. As the alliance was forged, the Nexus expanded exponentially. Across the galaxy, trillions of minds joined the network. Knowledge, culture, and technology flowed freely between species that had once been bitter enemies. On Earth, Sergeant Darius Prometheus Jones led a team of human and alien soldiers in final preparations. His squad now included Grax, a towering insectoid shock trooper, and ZYX Valia, a shape-shifting member of the former Chameleon Corps. All right, team, Darius growled, his eyes glowing with Nexus energy. We're about to face an enemy unlike any we've ever seen. But remember, we're not just fighting with our weapons. We're fighting with the combined knowledge and will of an entire galaxy. As he spoke, the first waves of the Devourers entered the Milky Way. They were vast beyond comprehension, beings of pure thought and ravenous hunger. Tendrils of dark energy reached out, seeking to corrupt and consume. But this time, they didn't find isolated, vulnerable minds. Instead, they crashed against the unified psychic barrier of the Nexus. In orbit around Earth, Fong, Stardust, Lee led a mixed squadron of human and alien pilots. Their ships, a hybrid of technologies from a dozen worlds, danced through the void, engaging the Devourer's advanced forces. Woohoo! Fong shouted as she barrel-rolled through a field of dark energy projectiles. Hey Grax, but I can take out more of these cosmic nightmares than you. The insectoid's mandibles clicked in what might have been laughter. You're on, human. Across the galaxy, similar scenes played out. On 1,000 worlds, defenders stood united against the encroaching darkness. The Nexus hummed with the combined will of trillions, each mind adding its unique strength to the whole. In the UEDF headquarters, General Voss watched the galactic battle unfold with a mixture of awe and trepidation. "Status report," she barked. Colonel Blackwood's fingers flew over holographic displays. "The Devourers are pushing hard at Sector 7, but Admiral Zyrix's fleet is holding the line. We've lost contact with 3 outer colonies, but the Arcturian defense grid is keeping them contained." Voss nodded grimly. "And Project Lazarus?" A new voice answered, Lyrial, now fully integrated into the human command structure. "The enhanced soldiers are performing beyond expectations, General. Their adaptability, combined with the Nexus, makes them our most effective weapon against the Devourer's psychic attacks." For days, the battle raged across the Milky Way. Stars went nova as titanic energies were unleashed. Planets were sacrificed to deny the enemy footholds. But slowly, inexorably, the united forces of the galaxy began to push back. In the final confrontation, at the heart of the Devourer swarm, Sergeant Darius found himself face-to-face with the enemy's core consciousness. It was a writhing mass of dark energy, pulsing with malevolent intelligence. "You cannot hope to comprehend us, let alone defeat us," it communicated directly into Darius's mind. "We are eternal. We are hunger incarnate." Darius grinned, the Nexus energy crackling around him. "Maybe so, but you know what we are." He raised his weapon, now pulsing with the combined energy of 1,000,000 stars. "We're the united fucking front of every sentient being in this galaxy. And we say, not today." With a primal roar echoed by trillions of voices across the Nexus, Darius unleashed a blast that shattered the fabric of space-time itself. The Devourer core imploded, taking the rest of the swarm with it in a cascading wave of annihilation. As the energy wave dissipated, an eerie silence fell across the galaxy. Then, slowly, realization dawned. They had won. Cheers erupted across 1,000,000 worlds. In the UEDF headquarters, General Voss allowed herself a rare smile. "Well, I'll be damned," she muttered. "We actually pulled it off." In the aftermath, the galaxy found itself irrevocably changed. The Nexus, now a permanent fixture of galactic society, ushered in an unprecedented era of cooperation and advancement. Former enemies worked side by side to rebuild and expand, their combined knowledge driving progress at an exponential rate. Earth, once considered a backwater world, now stood as the heart of this new galactic order. Humanity's adaptability and drive, tempered by the wisdom of ancient races, propelled them to heights they had never dreamed possible. As the first faster-than-light ships, powered by Nexus-enhanced technology, prepared to explore beyond the Milky Way, General Voss stood on the observation deck of the newly christened Unity space station. Besides her stood Admiral Zyrix, Elder Wraith Ktonos, and representatives from 100 worlds. "You know," Zyrix mused, his tentacles waving thoughtfully, "when we first came to Earth, we thought we were containing a threat. Instead, we found the key to our salvation." Voss nodded, her cybernetic eye scanning the starfield before them. "And to think, this is just the beginning. There are whole new galaxies out there, waiting to be explored." As they watched the exploration fleet depart, carrying with it the hopes and dreams of a united galaxy, a sense of limitless possibility filled the air. The day Earth proved to be the galaxy's greatest threat had become the day it emerged as its greatest hope. Humanity had not just survived, it had thrived, elevating entire civilizations with it. And as they stood on the brink of a new age of discovery, one thing was clear. The universe would never be the same again. In the vast tapestry of cosmic history, a new chapter had begun, and at its heart stood humanity, adaptable, relentless, and now unequivocally united with the very stars themselves.